Hey, Michael, what's up?
The pollen count. Double guns. Spring is sprung, and that is the perfect time to buy some Sperry's, Sarah. Sperry's are seafaring clothing accessories for your adventurous lifestyle. For more, visit Sperry.com.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Splain Yourself, the podcast that gives regular people a chance to explain their actions or beliefs. Today, we are mixing it up a little bit to bring you a special deluxe edition of our show in which we ask grumpy, stubborn, set in their ways folks to explain themselves. We call it Curmudgeon's Corner. Next to me is Heidi Chapman, my stand-in co-host for today. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. It's always a pleasure.
So Heidi's here not only because she's fabulous, and we always want her here, but also because Michael, the most curmudgeon we know, is in the hot seat as a guest.
Yeah.
Welcome, Michael.
I am. I don't really like the hot seat, but I'll do it for today.
How about the lukewarm seat?
That's better. It's better.
All right, and our second guest, new to the podcast, is Trey Nickel. Welcome, Trey.
Harumph. Curmudgeon-y.
That's the perfect response.
That's literally what Google says curmudgeon says.
Speaking of curmudgeon and Google, Heidi, you brought with you materials.
I brought notes because I'm an alpha, so you gotta be prepared.
Heidi's gonna replace me as host of this podcast.
No.
I like that she's
like-
an alpha. She's beating up people.
That's right.
It's true. I'm kind of mean like that. Okay, so I did a little bit of research, and I found that the kind of standard definition of curmudgeon is a bad-tempered or surly person. And I looked up the etymology.
Ooh.
It emerged in the late 16th century, but it is of unknown origin.
Oh. Really?
There is some speculation that it might be of Dutch origin, but it sounds like they really don't have their you-know-what together on that one.
Okay.
So we don't know origins, but we do know what it means.
And it seems like it's generally considered to have negative connotations.
Sure.
But I personally believe that it's more nuanced than that.
Oh.
So I think we should dive in and talk about
Let's
that.
definitely do. Michael, how do you define curmudgeon?
Curmudgeon-y, what makes me curmudgeon-y is that I have a very set way of doing things, and any deviation for any reason from that makes me very agitated.
So like
Okay.
going to bed at 8:35 instead of 8:30.
Yeah, it gets annoying.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I would like to be in bed between 9 and 9:30. At 9:31, the clock starts ticking in my head because I realize it's cutting into my hours of sleep. So yes, that is a perfect
So
example.
you're saying curmudgeons are basically like giant overgrown toddlers.
Maybe. I didn't think of it that way, but I like to think of it as I'm super efficient.
Okay, fair enough. Now, I have a question for you that's like maybe a little bit more specific than.
Okay.
But can you name a couple of famous curmudgeons that you kind of maybe identify or don't identify with?
I don't know if I identify with them, but there was Scrooge.
Yes, he is like the king curmudgeon.
Right. There was the neighbor from Dennis the Menace.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
What about the dudes in the
Played by
balcony?
Walter
The
Matthau.
Muppet
Oh,
Show?
Statler and Waldorf.
Yes.
Yes.
Those were like.
Of course I know.
I knew their names.
I
Those
refer
guys.
to myself as Statler and Waldorf all the time.
Oh
So
my
you're
gosh,
a true
so
curmudgeon as well. Nice.
And George Carlin is super curmudgeon.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nietzsche.
But also hilarious.
Well, one of my favorite curmudgeons, absolutely.
He
Wow.
may have had a mental health problem.
Well. So, awesome. So, you would consider yourself, yes, a curmudgeon.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
All right.
And Trey,
I don't know.
you're a little bit on the line here.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as curmudgeonly as Michael, I'm afraid.
Are we supposed to say curmudgeon Lee? Is that, dude,
I think
now I
that's-
have to look that up.
I feel like that's a better way to say it. It's more like learned sounding.
I think either one is going to go for this podcast. Curmudgeon-y, curmudgeon Lee.
Let's just
So,
agree that they're interchangeable.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
For the books. For the
Trey,
record.
there's probably stuff that you are more curmudgeonly about, such as ...
Grammar.
Oh,
Grammar.
yes.
I rue the day that I taught my mother how to text. So that was just a poor life decision. But
I think a lot of us can agree.
right,
Yes.
one of the first things that my sister and I had to coordinate to do though was to get her to stop saying like ooh, like are ooh coming? No, it's you, mother. It's a word. It's Y-O-U.
Oh, so no
So
abbreviations
oh gosh,
for you.
no, that
Okay,
that
all right.
really.
Note to self when you
Yes.
text Trey.
Spell
I do it
out
all
the
the
words. Spell out the word like Y-O-U.
Okay.
Are you coming?
But what if you're just trying to be
A-R-E?
cute and ironic?
Yeah.
Then
or
I will
save time.
cringe.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And maybe
Duly
cry.
noted. Duly noted. All right, cool.
So if a student uses text language or text spelling in their stuff for you,
Oh, they were writing. Yeah, they would hand it back.
Well, they shouldn't
F.
do that anyway. 'cause
Giant
it's
F. No, this
school.
is true. This
No,
is
we have
very true.
standards. Unless U is some kind of unknown variable in algebra, you should not spell it like that.
That's true, it is, but that's not. Yeah.
So I have a question. What is your personal definition of a curmudgeon, and do you think it's entirely negative, or do you think that it's more complicated than that?
I think for the most part it's negative. Not overwhelmingly, deleteriously negative, but for the most part, I think it's kind of a. I imagine an old, stubborn, crusty person. Just
Yeah.
kind of, get off of my lawn kind of thing.
Yeah, that is the stereotype.
Well, and I think, and this is where I guess my definition differs with the official one. I think of a specifically old person.
Okay.
Someone who's old, like.
But maybe it could
and stuck in
also
their
mean
ways.
somebody who's maybe old before their time, in that they're more mature,
Possibly.
or in that they have, they kind of
Old
have.
soul.
Because one of the
Yeah.
things that I like, kind of associate with somebody who's older is somebody that knows themselves. So
Yeah,
could
there
a
you go.
curmudgeon
And
maybe
that's-
just be somebody who's like hyper individualistic, who like really just does not feel like the need to justify their actions, their behavior, their habits.
Right.
They're just like, this
This is just me. This
Right.
is who I
I
am.
don't care if you
think,
like-
I think that's the positive side of curmudgeoniness.
Yeah.
Right, but I also think that also leads to a lot of negativity because all
Yes.
those things that she described also revolve around narcissism, right? Like I know
This
me
is
real
true.
well, and I don't
Right.
have to give a turkey about what anybody
Right.
else is their concern. So like, when I'm in a panic about it's 9:35 and I should be in bed, like there may be a very good reason, but now I've
Right.
ruined that because
Because it's just about you.
right, 'cause it's about me all the time. Right.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, and we've talked. Jerry and I have talked about the idea of like the whole. This is the ABCs of me. This is who I am, and I'm set in my ways. And if you see that in a younger person, it's very off-putting because it's all. You don't want to give them the leniency that you want to give to an older person.
You're young
It's
enough to
just like-
adapt now.
Right,
learn.
exactly. You're
Right.
still
Yeah, I
developing
mean-
as a human being, so you could decide to be different if you wanted to.
Right. I mean, you'd
yeah.
like to think that there's still a certain amount of flexibility.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. But you hear that phrase more often, I think, from younger people, like, well, that's just me, and you just have to deal with it. You know?
Don't you think
Like,
that there's some things we probably shouldn't be flexible about?
Sure, like, let's talk about that. What are we all curmudgeoning about? Because Heidi and I are hosting right now because we are the opposite of curmudgeons, but I bet there's one thing that if you pushed Heidi on it, she would not budge, right? What is
Actually,
it?
there's kind of a lot of things. I actually,
You try to switch places with
Oh,
ladies?
yeah, there you go.
but I'm not going to go into that because it's not all about me.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, that was a sick burn. You want some ice for that? Okay, so one thing that I'm very particular about is I'm sure that all of you people out there in podcast land know that I'm part of like an award-winning famous band that's
Yes.
like touring the world.
Randomonio!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pew, pew,
so
pew.
we're not famous except a little bit in Greer, like I always like to say. And
I'm
one thing.
famous in Greer. Oh, sorry.
By the way, if you hear any background noise, audience, that is our school's student band performing Billie Jean.
Which
For
is
the benefit
awesome.
concert on Saturday, you should go.
That was my first
So-
What's
one.
the thing, though?
Inflexible thing
Yes.
that I'm inflexible on is when we're in practice, if there's any kind of musical mistake or whatever, I am on that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm on that like white on rice.
Yeah.
I am like, no, incorrect, negatory.
But that's a good
delete.
thing, right? Because
It's
you want
great
high
if you're
standard
me
for-
Yeah.
and you get to yell at everyone. If
You really
you're-
can.
Clearly,
though.
you don't make mistakes yourself.
You know what? It's really funny that you should ask like that because if you ask anybody in my band, they think I'm terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, they think I am scary.
Wow.
Yeah, really scary because I care a lot
So
about
much.
details.
Yeah.
And I'm a really detail-oriented person.
Sure.
Like I just don't like. I like to be prepared. I like stuff to be planned out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, but that's-
spontaneity is fine for other people, but
Yeah.
But is there a difference between kind of being type A, which it sounds like you're describing, which is sort of a function of work habits, and then curmudgeonliness?
I think that there's definitely an overlap in that Venn diagram. I think that, like, I think curmudgeons are type A about certain things.
Okay.
Now, I
All
wouldn't
right.
say they're type A about everything, but I
Sure.
would say like they're type A about things like they don't want people to use abbreviations in text messages, or they don't want to end a sentence in a preposition,
Absolutely.
or I don't know, just
Something up with which I will not put. Right?
See, when you have to do it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a little bendability there.
Yeah.
So I think that's your band example is probably one that like that has a net positive result because you are performing for an audience and you want it to be high quality, right? Like,
Right, but
yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can be negative because sometimes I can get a little too extra.
Sure,
and
sure.
then before you know it, like like we're having an argument about like, well, should we use the glockenspiel effect on this or not? I don't know. Like, I mean, it's more accurate, but
You definitely, the answer is yes, by the way, to
You're right,
whatever you're
right.
asking about. Yes, use glockenspiel.
Yes.
So, how many of the curmudgeons in the room are like not curmudgeon-y at all about certain things? Like you can be loose with this particular area of your life.
I think that's part of it. Go ahead, Trey.
I was gonna say my sleep schedule is one.
Okay.
I try to be tighter about that, but where Micah goes to bed at 9:30.
Yeah.
If I get in bed by midnight, sure, that's a pretty good night. Sometimes it's 1 or 2, and
Sure.
that's that begins to be a problem. But I went to bed last night at 11 just because I had nothing left to do.
There you go. So early for you, 11.
11
Yeah.
was very early. Yes, yeah. Normally it's like 12:30, but
So you're not a grumpy old man about your sleep habits, but Michael is.
I am, absolutely. That's one of my best curmudgeon-y things I do.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I don't care about. So what's on the television or what
Sure.
we're watching on Netflix
Oh my gosh.
doesn't mean anything to me.
I care about that a lot.
Looks like Trey cares about that.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care about that. If we have plans, like if we were invited to Heidi's house, whatever you want to do is fine with me.
Cool.
Like,
That's true. We've had you over to the Davis house.
Yeah.
And you're pretty easygoing. when it
yeah,
comes to that.
I don't really care about any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What about if somebody's house is a big old mess? Do
I
you
don't.
want to just start
no.
cleaning their house?
No. 'Cause-
He's actually giving me crap for wanting to clean before they come over.
Yeah, I have different theories about clean than everybody else, which
Oh, really?
is you live in the house. What's the big deal?
see, yes, that clothes strewn all over my house.
Right.
That's because your house is a giant closet.
That's true. I only use about half of it.
Yeah, he's talked about it in terms of like maybe it's a southern thing where we have to look like a Better Homes and Gardens every time anybody comes over. Yeah.
This is a battle that the ladies have between
Yeah.
each other, and
Yeah.
I think what it is, and this is not curmudgeonly at all, we can go down this wormhole, is that this is a marker of your femininity.
So that is like so interesting that you should say that because one of my questions on my pre-prepared Type A Alpha list
Right.
is can women be curmudgeons?
Oh
So-
yeah, they can, but I don't think when we have a scramble drill around my house before people come over, it's an act of curmudgeonly. It's that somebody who lives with me, whose name I won't say, but it's not me, and there are only 2 who live in the house, thinks that the other women will look down on her femininity and her proper being raised
Right.
if the house is not in tip-top shape.
Right.
The question is she wrong?
My
It depends on the women you're hanging out with. And I
Depends
say
on
that
who's
if they
coming
judge
over.
you like
My
that, then
mother
you...
absolutely would.
Yeah.
And then I would argue that maybe we shouldn't invite your mother over
Fair enough. Yep, fair enough.
because
My mother wouldn't care. She's, she has 8 kids.
right, and that's,
And at this point, if people are like fed and have all their limbs, then like she feels like life's pretty good. So,
Right, and that's-
so my mom wouldn't care.
and that's generally the way I see things. Is like most people we know have a bunch of kids or have animals
Well,
and
if you have,
kids.
I mean, come on. Or I mean, heck, if you're like, okay, if I come over to Sarah's house,
Yeah.
in April especially,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't even notice because first of all, we're both educators.
Sure.
Right? We're both maxed up to our
Sure.
eyeballs and just stuff that we should not have to
Absolutely.
deal with on this deep of an emotional level.
Listen, if we clean it all, it's because people are coming over and we do it like an hour before people show up. And then it's like the illusion of cleanliness because we've stuffed everything in a closet.
Well, see, for me, I do need a certain amount of order in my surroundings.
Yeah.
But that's like I was raised that way. My father is super German, super like. Yeah, so
Everything
that's just
must
how
be-
that's just
Yeah.
But
it's Musain.
That's more towards type A.
Yeah, well, I am
And
type A.
curmudgeon.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I am not at all type A. Like I am a type like Q or something. I don't know.
Type Q.
But I do have like regular set patterns that I have to set up for myself.
Sure.
To keep myself organized. So my phone is always in my left pocket. My keys are always in my right pocket. My wallet is always back here. And if they are anywhere else, I don't know where those things are.
So like if you put your wallet in the front pocket, it's a
It's
disaster.
gone. It's gone. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so
Wow.
yeah, and so that's how I keep track of my by the way that I organize my computer and my desk, all these things are similar patterns. If it's not exactly where I expect it to be, because I'm so disorganized, I have to set certain measures of absolute, this does not ever vary. Now, typically, they don't affect anyone outside myself, other than...
That's a very curmudgeon-y thing.
Is it?
That
Okay.
is, but it's
Right.
but it's curmudgeon-y in order to serve the higher purpose of like
creating structure
yeah,
out of
right.
chaos.
supporting your dysfunction through
Yes.
curmudgeonness. Yes.
So much of my life is disorganized that these certain things have to be in place or I will fall apart.
Wow.
If you
Not
think
figure.
about like the stereotype of their curmudgeon, you always think of like, I mean, it's like a
old
65-year-old
man,
man.
yeah.
Who's wearing clothes, probably with stains, but there's always like probably a reason for him, right? Right? And like usually,
Maybe.
you know, one thing I've noticed about a lot of curmudgeons, and you guys can like shoot me down if you don't agree, but they will wear clothes from the same era.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
everything
Okay.
I own is from the late 70s and it's
Yeah.
polyester and it's got like palm tree prints on it, and that's just
Yeah, until like 3
This
years
guy.
ago, almost
So-
all the clothes I wore were from high school.
and see, like
Yeah.
you're stuck in that era because you don't care. Like
Yes.
you know, you're
Yeah.
like, well, I don't have to like
I
bow down
spend
to.
approximately $40 on clothes a year to buy like 1 or 2 new shirts.
Tell me,
Yeah.
tell me your ways, Sensei.
I just don't care what I look like. That's
Heidi wears a different outfit every day, just so y'all
Of the
know.
year.
Yeah.
She's got an ensemble,
Yeah.
matching earrings and cool shoes.
And it's all branding, by the way.
right.
It is branding,
She's
you're
branded
right, you're
herself,
right, and-
which is fabulous, by the way. Again, why we asked her.
It
to be
actually
here
takes a
today.
lot of the thinking out of stuff like that. Though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you just wear the
So
same
this is
3 colors, you're like the
pulling
white
it
stripes.
straight out of the dryer.
Yeah.
Same,
Yeah.
except you know, except
I
not
do
same.
show up less fashionably dressed than I do. This is true.
Yeah, when I first met the person whom I live with and I may be related to by marriage, she went through my clothes and she kept holding up. I had about 45 t-shirts.
Yeah.
And she would hold them up and say, "When is this one from?" And
Yeah.
I would say high school.
Yeah.
And I was 30.
Yeah.
High school.
That Jerry's the same way. He has shirts from high school.
High school.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like holy. They've got
Sean
holes in the
totally has
collars.
shirts.
No,
Yeah.
Sean has like these 2 little. It's from twisting the top off a beer. It's like
Yes.
right there. I'm like, how did those holes get there? All your shirts have them. He's like, let me explain.
So
wine
that's-
drinker.
Yeah.
Pit stains was another one.
Oh, yeah.
We had to get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have any shirts left at that point.
Time to buy new shirts. Now when
That's
Jerry
$40
buys
a
new
year,
shirts,
yeah.
he'll throw out like a certain number of old ones. So that's good. All right, so grumpy old men usually are yelling at kids to get off their lawns. What's the like most annoying thing to you as their curmudgeon?
The most annoying thing to me, hands down, there are 2 most annoying things. One is the homeowners association.
Yes.
Oh man.
And everybody in my
Nobody
homeowners
likes those guys.
Yeah, but I'm going to send a direct message to them. You can kiss the seat of my trousers right now. They sent us a letter that was nicely worded, but they said my
It was a veneer, Michael.
they sent that we're having a homeowner's code violation because my shutters and my door aren't the same
Don't
color.
match. We
Oh
talked about
my.
this in
Did
episode
we?
1?
We talked
Yeah,
about this.
That's hysterical.
All right, so kiss right where the seam is. And I'm not fixing anything. I'm not repainting, and I'll never pay your fine. Number 2 is people I pay to come help me around the house because I can't do anything who do a terrible job.
Okay.
So,
okay.
like, I went to Jiffy Lube once, and this isn't around the house, but it was of the
Well,
similar.
Your house can be like an extension. And
Yeah, so
your car can be an
went to
extension
Jiffy
of your house.
Lube,
Yeah.
which says Jiffy in the title.
Nope.
I was there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not Jiffy
We
Lube.
almost had a homicide.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought that it was called that because they gave you peanut butter.
That's definitely
Yeah.
Peanut
it.
butter either.
and also I think peanut butter is
What?
disgusting, so that would have made me
Whoa,
further angry.
whoa,
Whoa, time out.
Ugh.
Curmudgeon about peanut butter.
Dang, man.
It's disgusting.
Okay.
I honestly can't fathom anybody really likes
You
it.
are in the minority on that.
Yeah, that- yeah.
We need to get, you know what, an idea for a future podcast because I see Ken sitting at his desk all the time, that big old jar of Skippy.
Just eats peanut
Just
butter
eating
out of
it.
the jar.
You guys should
Yeah.
like battle it out. It would be so epic.
Yos.
So yeah. Well, I do want to like, because I know we're probably pretty short on time, but women curmudgeons, like,
Yeah.
like, is that a thing,
Are
or
women curmudgeons?
or do we have a
You
different
usually
term
think
for
of an
that?
old man. Yeah. That is there a different term?
Well, spinster.
Yeah.
Harpy. That's
Harpy.
Negative.
Oh, that's so nasty.
It is nasty.
See, curmudgeon to me is kind of like endearing almost.
Right,
Like
there's-
my dad's a curmudgeon and I call him one all the time.
It's
But-
lovable, though.
Yeah, but
'Cause I
I
mean,
wouldn't
you're-
call my mom a harpy. Like ever.
Yeah, that would be negative. But like, you know, like a spinster or an old biddy.
Yeah, old biddy.
Old biddy.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, that
Old
one's
biddy.
kind of
But
like
those are like super gendered, right?
they're
That they-
so gendered.
And-
Well, that's why I'm like
But I
tread
think
lightly
curmudgeon
because
typically is as well. Is it not?
Yes,
Well,
I
it's-
think so.
and
More than it
Usually-
should be. I think it typically.
And I think that probably we should rethink that men and women can both be curmudgeons, but spinster I always thought was somebody
That's
who was
strictly-
old, a woman who was old and not married.
That's the definition.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
But
That's
remember
true.
that words might have an exact definition, but they also have
Right.
connotations.
They have
Those are
connotations.
wrong.
Yeah, and usually with women, when I picture like a spinster, an old biddy, it's not so much somebody who's like grumpy and naysay. It's just maybe feistiness more than that, and like being in everybody's business.
And
Somebody
yeah.
who's meddlesome.
Yes,
and
yes.
The woman's
nagging
gonna-
is
And
the other thing.
nagging.
Yeah, the woman's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
like
yeah.
hobble up to your door and like knock on your door,
Right.
and I noticed that one of your tulips was out of place.
Yeah.
or
And that
something.
would be
Right.
the exact opposite of a curmudgeon, because I think for the most part they tend to be more reclusive
Yeah,
rather than being up in
absolutely.
your grill.
Absolutely.
Unless you're on their lawn.
Okay.
Yeah, in
which
that
case,
case,
all
I'm
bets are
coming
off.
out,
Have
and
them show
yeah,
up.
that's right. Yeah, I think everyone can be a curmudgeon in a given situation. Like, I'll tell my husband sometimes I feel like a curmudgeon. I don't want to go out tonight. Stuff like that. So
But Trey and I have embraced the lifestyle.
that's
I
right.
think that's
you guys
the,
are
that's
living the life.
The difference.
I'm a curmudgeon in the car for sure.
But that's road rage.
That's road
Yeah,
rage.
that's-
So sorry, that's
absolutely.
not
I think what you're
curmudgeon.
trying to
Yeah.
say is, I think what you are saying is that, like, I think we talked about this a little bit previously to prepare for this interview.
Yeah.
It's a spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you've got people who are like, yes, I am very set in my ways. I have absolutely no qualms about just
Right.
being that way and
Right.
just putting that out there, and it's all good. And then you have people who might have curmudgeon-like tendencies,
Right.
but it's not necessarily the first thing that like jumps out.
That's
at
not their
you.
Yeah,
personality.
Sarah, you really
Right.
can't be a curmudgeon because you have too many good spirits, which is the opposite of being
You always
curmudgeon.
talk about my good spurs.
You do have a lot of good if you have enthusiasm for
That's because
things.
she's an includer.
She is an
Yes.
includer.
Make sure you guys take the
and the
strengths
woo.
test.
I've got the woo.
And, yeah. And she's got so much woo, she's like the RZA in here.
I thought you were going to say she's like Wu-Tang Clan. But okay.
He's the guy from the
I don't
Wu-Tang.
know.
RZA.
No idea. I don't.
Wu-Tang
Do you
Wu-Tang.
think I listen to rap?
Not after you missed that joke, no.
Don't listen to rap at all. In fact, the only rap I think I'd listen to is maybe MC Solar, and it's French.
I don't even know
That
what
doesn't
So
even
are
count.
you a curmudgeon about rap? Are you like I will never get into
the
rap?
same way.
I
despise-
just don't like rap.
Yeah.
And I really don't like country music.
Nope.
Okay.
Agreed on both accounts.
No rap,
Except
no
if it's
country.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny
Right.
Cash's Bay.
Transcends,
yeah.
transcends country music. That's just a whole different.
Yeah, but I mean, classic country and new country, it's like metal and new metal. New with like the two little dots. Like you can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
terrible.
Okay.
So I don't do rap.
Okay.
But I like people that listen to rap like Michael.
And I think if I was going to be in a band that just played random stuff, I would listen to rap because
You know, you're probably right, but then I would have to listen to rap.
also I can't
Then there's
I can't refute that logic.
Also, like, if you're in a band like ours, like, what, the samples and stuff, like, you know, like, we just don't do that. We just prefer to, like, do, like, the face-melting, shredding guitar solos.
Your crowd is into it. So,
So
y'all-
you're saying
y'all
that your
just keep it
band
up.
plays instruments, unlike most rap.
Oh wow, the
He
curmudgeon's
said it.
coming out.
He said it.
The curmudgeon is
Yeah,
coming out.
that's
I love how this turned into a conversation about rap because I'm so ignorant about it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, people like what they like.
But I mean,
It's one of
people
those things.
people have strong opinions about things. I think rap music is something that people can definitely be curmudgeon-y about. Like, totally.
Yeah, and I mean this is real generational. Like this is the music of my generation. Right, I was born in 1980, so this is what we grew up
He's
with.
not that much younger than us.
I'm
Nor am
older
I.
than you. No, I'm
No,
2
you're-
years. I'm 2
no,
years
you're
younger
not.
than you.
No.
I'm 36. Am I
Right.
36?
Yeah, we're 38.
Right,
I was
Alright.
not that much younger than that.
right. Well,
So we're all the same age, essentially.
Right, we're all the same age, but at the same time, this is ours, right?
But I grew up in Europe, so you guys were listening to like Nirvana,
the
and
Beastie
I was
Boys.
listening to Motley Crue.
It might have had to do with peer group too.
That's true.
For sure.
That's
I
true.
grew up
Yeah.
listening to,
Speaking
Not
of which,
rap.
I don't know what they're playing out there, but okay, yeah.
Superstitious. Very nice.
That's a good one. It sounded pretty good. So, well, I don't know. All that to say, I think that women curmudgeons. I think like
It's
you
a
have to be
thing.
careful with the term, but I think that it is a thing.
I definitely think it's a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if a curmudgeon is just, if we refer back to your original definition, there's no gender specificity in it
That's
at
true.
all.
There's not.
Because if
no.
you'll remember, the definition is a bad-tempered or surly person, and I can vouch that sometimes I'm not always in a good mood. And then people are
We're
like, "What's
all that.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, are you broken or something?"
I'm a curmudgeon.
being a curmudgeon today.
I'm just having a day where like I'm just,
Well, and so I think that actually raises an interesting question. Can you be a temporary curmudgeon? I think that undermines the concept of being a curmudgeon, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think we agree that curmudgeon is a way of being,
Right.
whereas
General
if you're just
lifestyle.
having like a bad mood morning, then you're just grumpy pants.
Yeah.
Sure.
so
And
linguistic
that's-
parallel. In
Yeah.
Spanish, you've got two verbs for to be, right?
Yeah.
You've got the temporary
Yeah.
one, the one where you're in a state,
Right.
and then you got the one where you just are, that is your essence, right?
Right.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that like you can be grumpy, but are you grumpy? Like is every
Right. Is
atom
that
in
who
your
you
body?
are?
Right, is
Right.
that your
Yeah.
essence?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a good. I mean,
Well,
I think
yeah.
I think there are some people who really just have like the, they really just have that nature, and I think it's good actually because we need those people to balance out all those good
Oh,
spirits.
absolutely. And I love the
So
Spanish
annoying,
parallel
right?
because the temporary state is like saying I have grumpiness instead of I am.
Well, did you know you
grumpy,
can
right?
change
Like,
the meaning of a word
Yeah.
by changing? So, like, if you say that the apple is green, that's the essence of the apple. That's the color. But if you say the apple is temporarily green, it means it's not ripe yet.
Oh, okay. Now that is fascinating.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that could be true of grumpiness. I don't know. Curmudgeon, I think we were all in agreement. Like, if
Unripe
you're going to
grumpiness.
claim curmudgeon, then that's you at your core, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Your
Excellent.
state of being.
All right, any anecdotes, like a recent curmudgeon coming out situation?
A recent curmudgeon-y thing
I
did.
mean, you haven't confronted your HOA yet, have you?
But he's about to.
You're about to.
Well-
Hey, isn't that a rap song? Warm it up, Chris.
Whoa.
I'm about to.
Whoa,
Whoa, that's sorry.
whoa.
Yeah.
That was a lot just happened there.
Yeah.
I have not confronted the HOA yet.
He's not
but-
curmudgeon them yet.
But
No.
I've been, when I get a fine or another letter, a guy lives right across the street from me who's the president. I'm walking right over there.
Nice.
And we're going to fist fight on the lawn.
Nice.
All right.
No, I swear
Will
to God.
you invite me over?
That,
Nope.
that is not
I-
curmudgeon. That is the hood life. Right?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, the curmudgeon
You're
would,
just a
would
thug.
make sarcastic, like,
Nope.
passive-aggressive comments every time you saw him.
Passive aggressive. Yes.
Like, oh, I paint your door or something like that. Like the,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, all right, maybe that's just aggressive.
I think you're just violent.
I'm not. Just drives me insane.
No, but I mean it's true that's like really ridiculous.
If anything can inspire rage to come out of somebody, it's an HOA. That's for sure.
I think my best example of my curmudgeonness is I really enjoy the UFC, and their pay-per-views only come on like once a month or once every 5 weeks, so
Yeah.
it should be like a treat, right?
Right.
But they start at 10 and end at 1 in the morning.
Oh,
even
no.
though
Yeah, and the
even-
best fights at
and the best fight starts at midnight.
like yeah.
And so, because I'm so stuck in my ways, rather than sacrifice my sleep pattern, I'll just won't go.
Ugh.
And I've even been known to wake up at 5:30 Sunday morning to keep my sleep schedule intact and look at the fights on YouTube. They're pirated from some Russian site, so they're like, I get the Russian commentary.
Well, that's just a bonus, right?
That is a bonus.
There you go.
That's just not really.
With all the nuance that Russian has.
and all of it I understand. Zero. And so, even though I really enjoy the UFC, and this should be like a fun, momentous like occasion, got to a bar and eat some junk food, I'm just like too stuck in my ways to do it.
Wow.
so when you watch these YouTube videos, are you excited to watch them, or are you grumpy about the fact that you didn't see it live?
I am.
I think that would be a
I
distinguishing
feel
characteristic.
I'm neither. I'm just kind of
Okay.
like, this is what it is, and I'm a little mad that I have to be up at 5:30 on a Sunday morning because
Also,
of my
I
own
think
choosing.
that's
So are you familiar
Yeah.
with Aesop's fables? The dog in the manger?
No,
Like the
I don't
dog
know that
can't
one.
the dog can't eat the stuff in the manger, but he's not gonna let anybody else eat it. So
Yeah.
you're just basically standing in the way of your own happiness is what
Yes,
you're saying.
100%. But it's because I embrace the curmudgeon-y lifestyle. It is
Yeah.
me.
It's like Trey is not gonna buy shoes that aren't flip flops
Correct.
because
'cause I don't like feet coffins.
because feet coffins, but
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
yeah.
So I was going to ask you about a recent episode of curmudgeoniness, but
It's more just like a pervasive thing.
okay.
So you won't buy closed-toed shoes?
I have a couple pairs, sure. I mean, at some point you need
Funerals.
But, yeah.
Weddings. Bar mitzvahs, yeah.
I tried to wear flip-flops to my sister's wedding, but that got shot down.
I wear flip flops at my own wedding.
See, that's, yeah,
$3 from Old
It's
Navy.
cuter when girls do it.
Yeah, Jerry did
well,
it too.
fair enough. Whatever. I'm going to call you for a reference one day.
Should have been invited to the Davis wedding.
There's certain things that just grate against everything that I am. Grammar is a big one, I guess, along with that. When people pronounce the word human,
Oh, why?
I don't know why. There's
does that?
an H there. That is the word human.
Well, people do that with other words, like instead of saying humble, they say
Humble.
Why do people
I don't
say
know
that?
anyone who
Well,
does
so
this.
I had a boss that did this,
You're
and
not French, dude. Come on. Pronounce that
well,
H.
that was his justification. Like, you don't say honor in the word honor, and I think, okay, well, true, there are a
But
handful.
if you follow that line of reasoning, then like all
Hospital.
the wacky, or all the wacky pronunciations in English, like Eddie Izzard talking about the word through, how it should be
Right.
pronounced through.
Yes. Threw off.
Yes.
That didn't make
I
any
love
sense.
him, by the way.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Well, it's
And they
it's
do
so
say H things in the UK that we don't say, like herb instead
Herb,
of.
right.
Yeah, my
herb.
grandmother
Yeah.
says that, but you know what?
What's our takeaway? What did we learn from
nothing.
these two
We are
curmudgeons
curmudgeons.
today?
We learned nothing. That's the whole point.
Yeah, thanks. You just wasted our time.
Yeah.
I think we learned
I
that
didn't
there's
get to eat dinner or lunch. I had to forgo lunch for this.
Oh, sorry, Trey. You're
That's-
gonna have to
no,
eat
that
lunch
just makes
during
me
your
super
next
grumpy.
class. I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
sorry.
I didn't eat either,
I'm
so now
really
I'm
not
feeling
that upset.
curmudgeon-y. But I will
Yes.
say, I think that what I've taken away from this is that I don't think that being a curmudgeon is necessarily negative. I think that it's really important to remember that any kind of negative trait is usually counterbalanced by a positive trait.
There you go.
Just because you're set in your ways and stubborn, that probably means that you are true to yourself and true to your beliefs, and that's always a good thing.
And Michael gets plenty of sleep.
I do.
Yes, it's true.
He is glowing. He
I
is
know.
a
That's
beautiful
right.
man.
He's got that youthful glow.
That's
And
right.
Trey can look forward to many misspelled and bad grammar
That's
texts
right.
from me in the future.
That's
So-
right.
That's right.
Mostly just block those people.
Well, then it's a win.
All right.
But yeah. And
All right.
Sarah is definitely not a curmudgeon.
No.
And that's the take.
No, and I don't know. I don't know about Heidi. I didn't think you were before today, but now I'm
No.
rethinking.
Now
it.
you're on the-
I'm going to
the
come to
band
one of your
members.
band practices
Yeah,
and take
it's-
notes.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. You should bring some beer.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. Thanks to our curmudgeons, Michael and Trey, and our fantastic co-host, Heidi. Y'all are awesome. Thanks to everyone who's listening out there. And if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so now and tell your friends. You can follow us on Twitter at @Splain_yourself for updates and other content. We'll be back soon with another episode, but in the meantime, keep those kids off your lawn and always be ready to splain yourself.
Yay.